Good morning. Welcome back to Marriage Minutes, where we are spending the next 40 days helping you get on the same page as a couple. Today we are on day 9.
Yeah.
And we're
day
talking
9.
about not waiting until you're upset to have a conversation.
If you don't communicate, the other person has no ability to speak into whatever it is that is going on in your mind or heart. So it's important that we communicate.
That's right. Resentment grows in silence. So you want to make sure you're talking about stuff and not letting those silent resentments grow over time.
Waiting until you're upset will usually lead to a few different things. One, overreaction. And if you're not communicating, you're building a case in your head, and usually you're just kind of playing that tape of resentment over and over and over again until it builds so big you're really overreacting to something that started out so small, and not that it's insignificant or not important, but it can blow up when it's not addressed and communicated about.
Waiting until you're upset to talk can also lead to miscommunication.
Waiting until you're upset usually leads to overreaction, miscommunication, and finally it leads to distance. So there's going to be some distance because you're playing this tape of resentment over and over and over in your head. And ultimately, you're going to have a hard time trying to connect or just having a simple conversation about day-to-day stuff. A lot of conversations are going to be avoided with that resentment, that underlying resentment. So it's very important that you bring things to the surface immediately. And obviously, if you're in the heat of anger or upset, maybe have a cooling off period, but come to your spouse, realize that they are not the problem. The problem is the problem, and you two together can sit and work on whatever the issue is so that distance isn't there.
Yeah, the goal is to be taking steps toward each other, not creating distance between each other. If you're making time for communication and you're talking often, then it's much more comfortable than when too much time goes by and you have to have a hard conversation. So make time for it regularly.
When there are missing pieces of information, our brains will automatically fill in the gaps of where information is missing. And when you're not communicating, there's always missing bits of information. And so your brain's going to fill in the gaps. And if you're not communicating, that resentment builds. So a good tool to use is to simply come to your spouse and say, hey, story I'm telling myself in your head is that you're mad at me and that you want nothing to do with me, like whatever it is, and then shut up.
Then I have the opportunity to come back and say, that's not what's going on at all. How I'm actually feeling is this way. And it eliminates that filling in those missing pieces with the worst case scenario.
And that was so often we drift to that worst case scenario when we're not communicating. So again, bring it to the table, let them know what's going on in your head, and give them an opportunity to speak into it. More often than not, what you're thinking isn't actually what's going on. So make sure you bring it to the table and communicate. Don't wait till you're upset. Don't pour gasoline on being upset and that resentment and allow it to just fester, ultimately become a cancer in your marriage.
Yeah, easily can become that. Join us tomorrow, every morning actually at 6 a.m. And tomorrow we're going to talk about intimacy. So make sure you like and subscribe so you get notified when our videos post, and join us tomorrow.
Thanks for watching.
Episode 10. Thanks for watching.